As artificial intelligence continues to play an increasing role across the federal government, a critical issue facing IT leaders is how best to ensure the security, privacy, and control of the data and the infrastructure essential for managing AI workloads. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and here to talk more about that today is Krista Kinnard, Digital Transformation, Culture, and Communications Lead at NASA. Krista, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Wyatt.
So let's start a little bit with what types of AI use cases are getting the most significant investment support at NASA, and how do you see those investments bringing greater innovation to your agency's mission?
Yeah, so NASA is leaning heavily into AI investment across all areas of our mission. You can think about the most obvious, I think, would be very mission-driven applications. So a really great example is we're using AI to actually help astronauts in the International Space Station evaluate their gloves to ensure that they are safe for them to take out on a spacewalk. Um, Other parts of embedding AI in spacecraft, in aircraft, in all of the different areas of our mission. But another area that we're really looking into is also supporting our mission, right? So not only are we using AI to explore, to discover, to reach beyond, to go farther than we ever have before, but also we're using AI for how we run NASA, right? So looking at our procurement process, for example, looking at how we do engineering management, right? And when we bring project and program managers together to help them more manage their projects in a more streamlined capacity, right? These are all areas where we're starting to look to say, we could embed some AI here and really give the people that are doing these jobs and the people that make our missions reality, this incredibly powerful tool to deliver on that.
And then as agencies deal with obviously a growing volume of data and AI workloads, how do you view the pros and cons of managing data internally in private or on-prem service stacks virtually versus more commercial service stacks, if you will, especially in terms of kind of maintaining security control as well as costs?
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of the critical question here that a lot of government agencies are trying to grapple, right? Whether it's NASA, whether it's any other type of agency, right? We all have unique types of data that we work with and house, some of which is incredibly sensitive, some of which is not. Right. And in fact, some of which is publicly available. And I think NASA is a really great example of we really try to engage the citizen science community as much as we can, right? So depending on where we're trying to go with our research and the projects we're trying to build, that's really driving where do we need to build out infrastructure to be able to support this, right? So certainly our sensitive data, we take the utmost precaution, and that's really where we're looking at is this even something we could put in a cloud environment, right? Or is this something we really need to make sure is in a fully controlled environment by us? But other things we're looking to, even some NASA data can be housed in a cloud, right? But we partner really closely with our CISO and our cybersecurity experts across the agency to make sure that if we are going to be leveraging the cloud, either in a private or public capacity, that it's protected, that it is safe from potential threats, and is really reaching the people who need to see it, be it just NASA, be it our contractor or collaboration partners, or even the public itself.
And then thinking more specifically about computing resources. So how well prepared would you say either NASA is or maybe government agencies more generally in being able to manage CPUs and GPU resources, in an increasingly centralized way so that when it comes time to managing AI intensive workloads versus non-AI workloads, they're really allocating those workloads most efficiently?
So that is a really great question because, of course, when we are making those decisions about what should be on a cloud versus what we need to keep on prem, we really kind of need to be doing a cost benefit analysis because running a model, running an AI system, housing, manipulating large amounts of data isn't free, right? Even if it's on a CPU, a GPU in the cloud, right? You're burning dollars and you're also burning energy to be able to run that model. And to me, it seems silly to be running a very intensive, complex model that looks at how can we be saving the earth and reducing our carbon footprint while also spending all of this energy to create that model, right? And so we really need to look very specifically at what are we trying to get from this model or from this data, and how can we really optimize how we interact with it, so both from a cost and an energy perspective, we can say, all right, you know what, this is something we can run locally. We could do it in the cloud and burn a ton of either our own GPU or somebody else's. We really need to, we can do it locally, right? Or looking at it and saying, you know, this is this is a heavy hitter, and the output we're going to get from it is going to be absolutely incredible, right? We're going to be able to look at things in a new way. We're going to be able to understand our data in an entirely new way, right? Then it is perhaps appropriate to look to either our own GPU and invest in our own GPUs, or find cloud providers who can give us that horsepower. So I think
Absolutely.
overall, it's not a very glamorous answer, but it is. We really need to be thoughtful about how we're using AI. And if there's anything that I take away always from my conversations in AI, it's exciting. We want to be pushing the boundaries, but we really need to be evaluating what are we doing and how is that impacting the world around us to be able to get those outputs.
And then can you just comment a little on, so how is that shaping NASA's investment plans relative to refreshing infrastructure internally versus the cloud when it comes to AI and non-AI workload computing?
Uh, so my answer is yes. I know that wasn't a yes or no question, but in terms of our investment strategy, because we have so many different types of research and engineering and mission priorities that we're looking at, we are looking to invest where we can see the biggest impact on the mission, right? And so if that means to achieve this mission outcome, we need to invest in on-prem infrastructure. Let's look at that. If we need to invest in cloud computing to achieve a different mission outcome, let's also look at that, right? We really want to make sure that the people delivering on our mission have the tools that they need in their hands to be able to do that work. So from an investment perspective, we really are engaging across the agency to say, what are your needs? What are your priorities? How is that going to impact the mission? And then putting it as part of our budget priorities.
Appreciate that. And then lastly, taking it up a level, what would you say are kind of the biggest issues or gaps that that NASA is still trying to address, or government generally, to take fuller advantage of AI's potential?
NASA's been in the AI business for a very long time, since before it was even called AI, right? And we have literally some of the brightest minds of our time building new machine learning models, building and exploring new ways to new math effectively, right? Um, but and this is I think one of the areas that I really have a passion about. You can't just go to someone and say, here's your machine learning, right? And so I think one of the things that I've seen across government and also is important here at NASA is how do we set up our business of running AI, right? So we have a really smart researcher who is going to be able to look at the stars in an incredibly new way with a machine learning model. Excellent. How do we set up our business so that that researcher can say, I need these tools, and they can easily have them, right? And that includes not just the technical piece of it, but there's the procurement aspect of it, there's the partnership aspect of it, there's the management aspect of it, there's the budget aspect of it. So I think government needs to look at AI really as this fully enabled tool, not just a piece of technology, and start thinking about it as more than just cool tech, and thinking about it as this product that we manage in our ecosystem and manage all facets that have to go into making AI become real in an operational setting.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, Krista Kinnard, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to share your perspective on managing AI and the infrastructure to support it, and at the same time how we help agencies keep all that data more secure. So thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.